Hi, this is Terry Evans. I'm fascinated by the cocktail and craft distillery culture. While hosting the Alberta Spirits and Cocktail Festival in Edmonton, March 21st and 22nd, I was able to interview people from the industry who shared their knowledge and expertise.
Reluctantly.
This podcast brought to you by homegirls.ca, a top producing team at Remax Professionals, and thompsonmortgages.com. They take care of the financials, you search for your perfect home. The combination of these two sponsors has helped me facilitate multiple real estate transactions, including my most recent move right here in 2025. Now here's today's show.
Reluctantly.
Welcome to the Alberta Spirits and Cocktail Festival. I'm Terry Evans from K97 back at Terry's Distillery Discovery Bay in the back corner. If you want to pop around and visit and have a look, we're discussing all kinds of things to do with the spirits and distillery, craft distillery industry, and featuring some of the exhibitors that are at the show this weekend. And up next, we have Antonio from Bridgeland Distilling. First of all, tell everybody where Bridgeland is located.
Thank you. Bridgeland is located in Calgary. We're close to downtown and very close to the zoo. The distillery was started in 2016, and we started selling product in 2018.
2016 to 2020, probably the formative years of the distillery. Everything is trying to get on a steady curve, hopefully going up. And then the pandemic hits, and then we've got a span of a year to 3 years in there where it was rough for everybody.
That's right.
How did Bridgeland carry on through those 18 to 36 months?
I'm going to say it was a combination of things. Some loyal customers who supported us, and which obviously we appreciate. Owners digging deep into their pockets to keep their dream alive. And that's it. Probably those two things saved us.
So when the owners, obviously a lot of times with distillers and distilleries, craft distilleries, you have somebody that might have a vision or a dream or pockets that might be a little deeper than most people.
Right.
But they don't have the actual science or a distiller's or a brewer's or a vintner's degree or that kind of training. How does that process work, and how hands-on are the owners of Bridgeland?
So our owners are actually also the distillers. They didn't know each other prior to 2016. They actually, Daniel was making wine at home. They're both engineers. And Jacques was making beer. They sold their businesses. Both were interested in distilling, so they actually met at Olds College in the distilling course. So they're both graduates of the distilling course. They met there and realized they had a shared vision in terms of producing the highest quality spirits in Canada, using only local products, and then the rest is history, as they say.
How important is it for Bridgeland to locally source all of the ingredients, or as many of the ingredients as you can for the products you?
It's the most important thing, period. Wine drinkers are familiar with the term terroir. We believe in terroir for our grains as well. I mean, the basic belief was that Alberta grows the best grains in the world. We have some of the best water in the world. 1 + 1 is 3.
Well, sure, the proximity to the mountains, the Bow River coming through, everything's coming in from Banff, Kananaskis, and everything like that. The other thing is, you talk about the grains and Alberta, Saskatchewan into Manitoba, some of the best grain growing soil and products on the planet coming out of our region.
And you'll notice on a lot of our bottles, we named them after either the town where the farmer is growing the grains for us, or in some cases after the family. We don't buy any of our grains commercially. We actually have contract with small farms, and they grow them specifically for us, and almost always without the aid of anything on them. They don't spray them. They don't do a thing to them. It's whatever Mother Nature gives us. That's what we want to use.
So is it a classification of organic in the distilling process, or?
Probably yes. We've never had it looked at or certified because we're dealing with families that grow grain, and if they tell us they're not spraying it, we believe them, right? Yeah. So, and we ask them not to. and they're happy not to.
Reluctantly.
This podcast reluctantly sponsored by ThompsonMortgages.com. Not limited to just mortgages. They also provide insurance. Almost any service associated with a home or building purchase can be done in-house. And for anything beyond that, they have an extensive network of professionals at their fingertips. Consolidations, loans, mortgages, legal services, accounting services, financial planning, insurance. They are your one-stop shop. How do I know this? Well, Mike at ThompsonMortgages.com has helped us out with our mortgages for the last few real estate transactions that we have made. You can be confident that they will work hard to ensure all your mortgage and insurance goals are fulfilled. Check them out for yourself. ThompsonMortgages.com.
Reluctantly.
So with Bridgeland Distillery in Calgary, obviously there are spirits that are darker, that are aged. There are spirits that are lighter, that don't necessarily have to be aged. There's barrels, there's the still itself and all of the process that goes through it. What was the process from the initiation of the company, of the distillery, up until the first aged spirits were able to be purchased on the shelves?
So basically you sit down and decide what kind of distillery you want to be. So when you decide you want to make the highest quality products in the world, now you have to go find the best equipment in the world. So for example, we have only one of two coiled copper pot stills in the world that was actually designed with the owners and made at Vendome, who are the Rolls-Royce builders of stills in Kentucky. So our still came from Kentucky. Our barrels that we use in our bourbon come from Tennessee. The barrels that we use for our brandies come from France. So we went out and sourced the best barrels in the world, the best machinery in the world, so that we could showcase the best grains and water in the world.
Now, you mentioned bourbon.
Yes.
And I know that bourbon is a touchy subject right now, particularly with the current administration down in the United States. All of the tariffs and the classification of bourbon being sold in the United States, but Bridgeland offers up a bourbon.
Yes.
Should there be 40 fingers over that, or how do you?
There's no 40 fingers because it's made with a Kentucky still. It's aged in Tennessee charred barrels. The only thing that's different with our bourbon and Kentucky bourbon is our table corn, our water, and Canadian know-how. But the equipment is identical. In fact, the equipment is made by them. And in some cases, our equipment is better than theirs. So we spell it B-E-R-B-O-N because we didn't want to cause any problems with the spelling. But the B-E-R-B-O-N comes from, the B-E-R comes from the fact that we use Tabor corn. The B-O-N comes from bourbon, and we put the two together, and we feel like it's now the Canadian spelling for bourbon.
Have you been down to Kentucky? Have you gone through in Nashville and
100%.
You've been down through?
Yeah.
What kind of, on an excursion like that, in a position that you're in with Bridgeland, what do you take away from other companies, other distilling processes, other incorporations of whether it be the barrels or the equipment or whatever? How much of it are you able to say, okay, I'm going to put that in the back of my head and incorporate into what we're doing?
Not a lot. The one thing I'll tell you is that the people working at the distilleries have as much passion as us, for sure. But because they're huge distilleries, they don't approach it like a craft distillery like we do. So they're there to make volume. If you can imagine Maker's Mark is selling bourbon all around the world. They're making millions and millions of liters a year. We make 26,000 liters. We're very, very small. So we have the ability to do certain things to make our product a little bit at a higher quality than they do. They're making a good commercial bourbon, 100%. But we're making a craft, small batch bourbon that I would put against anybody's bourbon from Kentucky.
Reluctantly.
This podcast is reluctantly sponsored by the real estate team of homegirls.ca. a top producing team at RE/MAX Professionals. If you are buying or selling in the Edmonton region, Shauna and Bonnie can handle everything with strong industry connections to mortgage brokers, home inspectors, lawyers, and contractors to support every step of the process. The market is very active right now. We recently listed our home again, and it went from MLS to closing conditions in 8 days. Now, of course, results may vary from property to property, but Shauna and Bonnie have been our trusted real estate advisors through buying and selling no less than 7 properties. I've recommended them to many friends who want real, relatable people with a personalized, hands-on approach. New home, investment, recreational, even commercial properties. Homegirls.ca is the website. Email info is right there. And the phone number is 780-517-HOME.
Reluctantly.
I've been to Lynchburg.
Yep.
I have watched shows. I've never been to Kentucky.
Yep.
I've watched shows. The process of it is fascinating to me. And you talk about incorporating the BER as in Tabor corn, which is world class. So it makes me wonder. I've never tasted Nebraska corn, but Nebraska is, the corn state. I'm guessing there may be a lot of Nebraska corn in regular bourbon, whether it be Angel's Envy or Maker's Mark or whatever the case.
So again, because when you're producing commercial bourbon, you're looking at a cost. I'm sure they're using Nebraska corn, maybe in some of the higher end bourbons, but in commercial bourbon, they're not using Nebraska corn. Okay, it's it's like everything else. There's if this is what it's going to retail at, this is how much we have to make it. So they're not buying Nebraska corn. It just depends how you look at a $30 bottle of bourbon and you look at a $100 bottle of bourbon and you're like, oh, it's the same bourbon. No, it's not even close. But they're both bourbon, right? But you have to drill down and understand the difference between the two products.
Right. And everybody knows that Tabor corn is world class. So the Alberta Distillery of the Year, the gold sticker on there, that doesn't come for just everybody. When you start receiving awards like that, and this the 101, is that the 101 proof?
Yes.
Okay. Just pull that up so everybody can see it who's watching on YouTube and whatnot. And the website for Bridgeland Distillery?
Yes.
What's the website for?
Bridgelanddistilling.com.
Bridgelanddistilling.com. Okay. And in Calgary, if people want to go, if they're in the market doing like the whiskey trail, we were talking to Bryce earlier, talking about how things are becoming more and more popular in Alberta. Is it the distillery? Have you incorporated a restaurant, event space, or anything like that?
We have a small event space, no restaurant. That's not our forte, but we do have a cocktail bar with a mixologist. And then if people come and they want to sit and have cocktails, we're absolutely let them order in food or bring in food. It's not a problem. It's a lot of fun. The distillery it's really unique. We have our mash room, we have our barreling room. In the basement, we actually have a water purification system. We bring in glacial water, but we even purify that. We're trying to make that absolutely the finest product available.
Okay. For anybody who's in Calgary, go to Bridgeland Distillery to find out all of the products that they provide for you, and of course the website, you can check them out as well. Bridgeland Distillery. And Antonio, as always, pleasure. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. My pleasure. Cheers.
Reluctantly.
This podcast reluctantly sponsored by Homegirls.ca, a top producing team at RE/MAX Professionals, and ThompsonMortgages.com. They take care of the financials. You search for your perfect home. If you're searching for a home in the Edmonton area, please use both of these fine sponsors.
Reluctantly.